Alright, what's up, peeps? You're not supposed to be happy all the time, and this is why. It seems pretty obvious when you hear it, right? You're not supposed to be happy all the time. It seems like, yeah, I know this, I know, but still, why do you chase it? Why do you continue to go after all these highs, which inevitably cause longer lasting, more painful lows? All pleasure always leads to pain. That's the thing. People have been saying this for thousands of years, and that hasn't changed a bit. You know, our whole society might have changed. Human beings are still exactly the same weird monkeys running around on a spinning ball of a planet in the universe. That's the whole thing. You're not supposed to be happy because nature or God or whatever you want to call it didn't make you to be happy all the time, because it's impossible to be happy all the time. The whole universe works with pulses, right? Ups and downs. Everything comes and goes. Always. We came into this world to leave it. The moment you're born, you start dying. People always say they're living, but really we're all dying all the time. And that's a good thing, because death is not a bad thing. It's just the next part, you know, it's just the transitioning to a next phase of the soul. But this is why you shouldn't be happy all the time. Personal anecdote, I used to chase happiness. I used to chase it all the fucking time. I used to chase happiness all the fucking time. I had complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Complex, depends on how you look at it. It was pretty complex. My dad used to hit me a lot. I was so confused. I was terrified of literally everything and everyone. Which is obviously just my own creation. My mind created that shit. Obviously also my dad put it into my mind and society, but really I chose to follow their patterns and their programming. Anyways, I was always so sad. I escaped in drugs. I was always too terrified of girls. If I would have been more confident, for sure I would have escaped in sex and girls too. I've had a couple of girls, and with all of these girls I had a lot of sex. Because I was addicted to it, because I was addicted to escaping my reality. Did any of it ever made me happy? I did so many drugs, right? Like, I went partying every week, and every time I did drugs I had a bad trip. Nearly every fucking time, because my PTSD was so strong. It was over empowering. Did it ever help me? No, not at all, literally. It was a bunch of bullshit. I kept chasing them. And I understand why people do it, especially if you're very traumatized. Like, your life is a fucking hellhole. Literally, it's not an exaggeration. People who don't suffer PTSD, I'm not saying they have less of a life. It's not saying they have less pain and less suffering. Everyone suffers so much. But when you are suffering PTSD, that shit is... Yeah, I saw visions, I heard voices in my head, stuff like that. It's pretty messed up, but you just should stop trying to chase happiness. Because the moment that I stopped is when I found therapy. The moment I stopped chasing it is when I found good friends who had overcome their trauma, and they had taught me and still teach me a lot of techniques to deal with it, to become more confident. Techniques I'll probably share on this channel as well. I'll just talk about anything that comes to my mind, really. I'll try to make a daily video. I just have to walk to the station every day, and that's what I'm doing it, right? I want to do something with my time. I want to create stuff instead of consummate it or consume. I like it better, consummate. I don't know if it's a real word, but it sounds better. Don't create. No, create, don't consummate. Sounds better, right? It rhymes. Sketchy, but yeah, stop chasing it, because everything is bound to come and go. This is the whole thing. Happiness couldn't exist if it wasn't for the lows that came before or after it, depending on how you look at it. If your glass half full, then you'll be like, first I feel sad, but after that I feel better. If your glass half If your glass half empty, then you're like, oh, first I'm a little happy, then I'm depressed all the time. In reality, I think it's both. Everything just goes up and down, and I think it's better to look at it the positive way, that we suffer just to feel better afterwards. But then after that, we'll feel shit again. So don't get caught up in this mind game that you should be happy all the time. Because no one ever was, no one ever will be. And the happiest people are the people who don't chase it at all. They don't fucking care, literally. They just meditate, sit in the cave, or they just do their work, even if it's a factory job. They just accept the reality as it is. And the moment you start doing that, joy starts springing from within. I've experienced this multiple times. I've been in very blissful states due to psychedelic experiences, which I won't be talking about right now, but mainly just meditation, deep meditation. My kundalini is kind of awakened, but not really. But it's enough to get into blissful states, which is what our true nature is like. And the moment you've achieved that, it's much easier to even stop looking for any of it in the first place. Because the bliss from within doesn't know highs or lows. It's always joyful, it's always blissful, which is much better than even a fucking orgasm. Any orgasm you've ever had, any drug you've ever tried, this bliss exceeds all of it. But I'm not sure if I want to make this a very spiritual channel necessarily and talk about all of these esoteric topics. Who knows? I'll just talk from the heart, you know. And I'll just feel where it gets me. But I'm just doing this for myself anyways. I don't even care if people see this or not. I just need to start creating shit. I just need to get into the habit of creating shit. And that's another topic for another video. Get back to the highs and lows. That's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, man. Just accept it that you feel shit. Just accept your depression. Accept your PTSD. Accept you're a lonely fucking loser who's wanking on his dick every day and can't get a fucking girl. Just accept it. Be real with yourself. For real, be real. For real, be real. Because only by, the truth hurts. But other people can't say it to you, but probably they won't because most people are pussies. But even then, you have to say it to yourself. You can ask forgiveness to God, to friends, whatever. You first have to forgive yourself. None of it matters if you don't forgive yourself. It's all about yourself. Everything is pretty selfish. Even the selfless things are pretty selfish because whatever you do, it's always for yourself. So it's good to be selfish. Think about yourself first. So clearly you must do things that make you happy. But that's the whole point. Do you want to do you want to give it a pleasure, which is a very intense high? You all know this, but I'll still explain it. It's a very intense high. And then days and days after the high of pain, suffering, craving more of the same high again. The same high that got you fucked in the first place. This is how people rape and shit. They're so addicted to porn and sex that they just start, raping and shit. And that's why people eat so much junk food all the time. That's why more than 50%, I live in Belgium, more than 50% of the population is overweight. In America, it's 80%. People are losers, man. They're losing at life. And I mean that in an offensive way, but they are. They're super depressed because they can't accept that they're sad. They can't let go of the idea that they're sad because they keep chasing this one stupid dopamine high. Dopamine is shit. It's necessary for survival. It's great for productivity. If you exercise, if you take cold showers, etc., etc. The dopamine will fuck you up big time. All the other shit, there's also opioid receptors that can fuck you up. But mainly it's dopamine. That's addictive, right? In all the drugs, there's also some kind of dopamine related issue. Why you want to do these drugs in the first place. That's 10 minutes. So I'll just leave it at this. I don't want to make my videos too long because I know I can keep talking about anything. And I'm glad I can share my knowledge with the world. and I hope it will help some people out there.